just did a little warm-up drive. Pulled over to get the camera going. Car's driving nice and smooth. It shifts nicely. You can see I can take my hand off the steering wheel. The car tracks beautifully. You know, the crown of the road isn't perfect, so it's naturally going to walk a little bit. This is one of the straightest driving Miuras I've driven. You remember when this car came in, it had an alignment problem due to the tie rods. So the shifting, it's a new gearbox, so we're just a hair stiff on shifting gears, which is normal. When it warms up, it gets better, and as the gearbox breaks in, it'll be easier to operate. It doesn't take any big effort. I can still do it, you know, with not too much effort, but until the gearbox breaks in, it's a little stiffer. But the last time you drove the car, Gino, it would have been easier to go in and out of the gears because there was a lot of worn components. You know, so it would have, you know, more or less slid in like butter, so to speak. But you're not going to get that with the new gearbox. Keep in mind the amount of parts that were changed in the gearbox to make this like new. It's normal, you know, when you're doing, you know, a deceleration or something like that to get a little bit of popping, but they've got the tune on this car just right. I don't feel that it's running too rich or lean. The timing feels good. It's idling good. It's really driving beautiful. It's about 100 degrees down here right now. The oil temp looks good. It's about 80. We've been running it for a while. The water temp is getting a little over 80, which is where you want to make sure as soon as it cracks 80, you kick on that auxiliary fan to keep the airflow going. Oil pressure looks good. I watched the temp gauge, or excuse me, the battery charging as I turn on and off things. It's responding correctly. Overall, everything looks great, and I have to say it, this is one of the stronger running Miuras I've ever driven. And you know, we've been out in the car. We drove briefly, about 10 minutes this morning. Now we've been out for about 20 minutes. So far, I haven't found anything I don't like with the car. I'm just going through some of the normal things. The horn sounds absolutely beautiful. I don't remember if it was like that before, but yeah, it sounds great. The windows go up and down, very smooth operation, and I'm happy with what's going on so far. We're going to take it back to the shop and do a little more look over the car. But as far as the gearbox noise, I didn't get a full, you know, high-speed run on this car before because we were having trouble with it. It wasn't running right when we came here. But we've taken the car up, you know, probably near 100 miles an hour, and then around, you know, 40, 50, 60. Played around in different gears, on and off the gas, on and off the gas. I'm not hearing any noise that's unusual for a Miura. The gearbox noise we can hear now, that's typical Miura. It sounds the same as any other Miura I've ever driven. You know, the differential is a straight cut gear that by its design, you know, for strength, it's a little noisier than a traditional angle cut gear or something like that. But car's running strong, and the guys did a good setup on the brakes. We got really good braking power, and that wasn't even full pedal on it. That was just, you know, halfway force on it. Something, if you decelerate the Miura too hard, the fuel rushes forward and the engine can get into a stall. So just a little heads up on that. But I'm very happy with how straight this car electronics, turn signals, brake lights, headlights, all that stuff working great. Previously, you know, there were some squeaks and rattles in the interior. There was stuff that really wasn't fitting right. The interior, I'm glad that Dan's team took the interior out of the car and put it back in. I mean, that was necessary for the wiring harness, but the craftsmanship of the interior going back in the car and getting reinstalled is way better than this car was before. And as far as you know, an Italian car that's 50 years old, I'm not hearing any squeaks or rattles anywhere, which is quite impressive. Back up to Chicago for you, you know, just to save you a little bit of money on transportation costs. You know, that offer is good. But yeah, this thing is driving really nice. I do worry about the city traffic of Chicago. You know, it's a 50-year-old car. You gotta treat this thing with respect. You know, it's not a air conditioning or anything like that. You know, we talked about this before. You want to run, you know, pump gas, you know, which if you keep the gas burning through it, it's not that much of a problem, you know, because the ethanol, when it evaporates, it can clog up the carbs. But the other thing, though, is there's aluminum components in the fuel system. The carburetors are aluminum. And ethanol is hard on aluminum. So I'd really rather you put ethanol-free high-octane gas in there. I mean, this is a beautiful car. It runs beautiful. And, you know, for the love of the car and the work that's been done, it really needs to have an ethanol-free gas in it that's, you know, enough octane. So, windows go up and down beautifully. I don't like to say things like this, but the windows go up and down a hell of a lot more smooth than they do in my Miura. So, you know, if you remember the windows, you know, they were making noise going up and down. It was pretty rickety. And now they go up and down beautifully. So, I'm looking hard, but it's, from the driving experience, I'm having a hard time to find anything to critique or criticize. That's why, you know, I need a longer test drive. I need to drive this from Austin up to Chicago for you, you know, just to make sure everything's good on the car. But the sound is great. I love the sound of this car. You know, you can tell, you know, from the sound and then the power coming in and out of the gas, that the engine has a good tune. I know that there were some issues with the distributors. I didn't get into the nuts and bolts of that with Dan's team of what was going on with the distributors, but there was something goofy because when this car came down here, and I'm gonna slow down the car, go down into second, now we'll go into first. Synchro's great, got into first, no problem. So, you know, I don't know that anything can be improved on the drive of the car. From what I'm experiencing so far, I'm really pleased with what's going on. So something I like too, you know, the gearbox, when I'm shifting gears, you know, it lands in a good spot on the shift gate. Cars with worn components, after it goes into gear, far enough. So this tells me that, you know, it's got a fresh gearbox, you know, as far as, you know, the components, which we know already, but I'm just, you know, demonstrating a little bit that and then reinstalling the car, the clutch linkage was adjusted appropriately. You look, we're in the center here, left to right, front to back. So I'm looking here for stuff that needs to be taken care of functionally before the car comes back. And so far I haven't come up with anything. I'm sure I'll come up with maybe something cosmetic, you know, that we can clean up on the car or something like that. That's going to be at your discretion. But really happy with the driving. I didn't push it in all the way that time. Downshift to fourth. Downshift to third. Clutch is holding good. Warms up, it's going in and out of the gears a little easier than when it's cold, but that's just a function of you know, stuff breaking in. And I really like how good the brakes feel. A lot of people make the mistakes of putting in a brake compound that is too hard, and you know, the car, it's unsafe because it doesn't stop well. Another mistake with the brakes is not doing a proper setup, because keep in mind, the Miura does not have power brakes. It doesn't have power steering either. But without the power brakes, it's all what your foot can do. So you have to have a perfect setup on the brakes. They have to be aligned. The system has to be properly bed, or, you know, led, and coming back to the shop now, and yeah, I really like what's going on here. So it's 100 degrees here. You know, in Michigan, this temp, it'd be you know, we're getting on the warm side for Michigan if it was an 80-degree day, but it's damn near 100 here. I always like seeing these things run cooler because I'd hate for an overheat. But for 100 degrees out today, we're doing good. Oil pump, that's an appropriate pressure for after it's warmed up. Okay. Getting good power through all the gears. There's no sputtering, there's no misfiring, you know, there's no funny business going on. I think this is a nice, you know, fair weather day, you know, driver. Obviously, I wouldn't take this car out in the rain, you know, I mean, it doesn't have ABS or, you know, any modern safety things like that, and the nooks and crannies of this car weren't meant to get filled with water. So I think that you know, on a nice day, this is a great car to drive and enjoy, and it's quite honestly one of the better driving Miuras I've ever driven. This is a real pleasure to drive. So now that we've got, you know, a little bit of time on it, I did a quick overview kind of the car inside the shop. Now that we've got it up to temp, we're going to do some more look over, but you know, from the drive, I'm happy with what's going on. It's idling at the right place after warm. Should be about 1,000.